All right, we're gonna start this video off. We're gonna start small with things that you need to do in preparation of building your database before you can have a database. One of the main things you're gonna need is a UOC table. Before we get into all that, let me introduce myself real quick. I'm Staff Sergeant Dexter Kyle Mitchell. I'm the Senior Career Counselor at 210th Field Artillery Brigade at Camp Casey, South Korea. Also the Senior Career Counselor for the Geographically Dispersed Davardi at JBLM. Okay, so let's get into this. A UOC table is a unit of credit table with your UICs and the unit that you have. It can be as simple as this right here, where you have your UICs, the batteries or the companies they belong to, the battalions they belong to, the brigade they fall under, and you can even put which career counselor controls that UIC or is the servicing career counselor for those UICs, right? It could also be as complex as this, where you have everything letting you know if it's missioned, if the RC is mission for it, what corps it falls under, the division, the DML, the DMSL, where they're located. It could be that intense as well. It's not needed, but it can be that intense. So as long as you have a basic understanding of how a UOC table works, that is one of the foundations for how your database is going to relay information. So that will be the first intro to Microsoft Access database and how to build your database. UOC table. But what? The other elements that you're going to need for your database is raw data. You can get your raw data from Retain. Going to user support, reports, data exports. This will give you your canned reports. Let me tell you still, I am not an expert by any means on any of this stuff. I have a basic understanding of how to use it and how to build a database and how to get information from that database. Throughout all of these videos, I will be reaching out to people who I know are masters at this craft to maybe get some features. Do one a week of, hey, this is a cool expression or formula that I use for my database. Let me do a 5-minute video on how to do it and what kind of information it will give you and what you need to put into it to get this information. So those will also be some cool videos we can hopefully get into. All right, so the other foundations that you're going to need, everything's going to be exported through text. So we'll do extension ad hoc confirmed, save as. This is all going to be under one file that you use, and never move this folder. Once you have to find a folder that you're going to use. Mine's just on my desktop, and I never move this folder. This folder stays there always, and every time I add stuff to it, it will replace itself, and we'll get into that when we start building the database. So you're going to save your extensions ad hoc confirmed in your folder that you're never going to move. My folder is labeled tutorial because we're just doing a tutorial here. So we're going to save that. Saved. Extensions ad hoc unconfirmed. Export text. Save as. Save. That's complete. You can use this per DB if you want. I go a different route when I use my per DB. I actually pull it from the reports and per DB, and I'll show you how I do that here in a little bit as well. I'll show you the best I can without putting any PII on the internet. But the per DB that's in here, I believe, only goes 2 years out. I like my per DB to pull multiple years out. I go all the way out to, I think right now I'm in FY 34. Just so I have a full grasp of everybody that's in my unit at the time, not just those that may be in their window. But for training purposes, we're going to go ahead and grab this per dB right here as well. So this isn't grabbing just your units per dB, this is grabbing an army per dB for 2 years. So it's going to take a second. Oh. A request has been sent to the server for the desired report. Please wait. Waiting. You can fast forward this if you want. All right, save as. Same thing, we're saving it in that folder of ours. This is a pretty big per dB, so it's gonna take a second. 10%. The next one we're going to grab is your reenlistment ad hoc confirmed. Excuse my chair, it's a little squeaky. Here up at Camp Casey, we don't have a lot of nice things, so my chair tends to yell at me from time to time. Alright, so after this per dB gets done, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to export text and save as in that folder for our reenlistment ad hoc. And we're going to export text, save in that same folder, reenlistment ad hoc unconfirmed. And then the last one we will do is your verified unverified. That shows us who has shipped and who is pending shipping to the reserve component. So I'll save these and then we'll get back to it. All right, so those files have been all exported text and saved as in our specified folder. So I'll show you real quick my per dB poll, what I do. So go to reports, go to per dB ad hoc. So again, this is just what I do. You don't have to do this. So I pull everyone that's in my MACOM, which now is P1. Put the beginning date today, because we don't want anybody that's ETS yesterday. And then 2 years out from that, because you can only pull 2 years at a time. We want all the information, all of it. And then you're going to click search. I'm not going to click search because that's going to show some PII as soon as I hit search. But you'd click search and then you could save as text file. And so when I do this, I put it all into a completely separate folder that I have on my desktop. And it's depending on how many years you want to go out. I end up going out to like 2038 or something, just until like you can just keep going and you'll see the soldiers will start to dwindle. You'll go down to like, there'll only be like 3 left after you click search. And then the next one, there'll be none. So that last one will be the last time you'll hit search on anything. And then you can combine those text files by opening one, and then you're gonna select all the information that's underneath the titles or the top. I can't remember what it's called right now. So you're gonna select all that's underneath the top, and just select it all, cut it from that file, and you're gonna put it into another file, or you're gonna put it into one of your other per dBs. And you're just going to do that to every single one of them till one per dB file that you've saved has every year that you've requested. Geez, I'm not making a whole lot of sense right now with talking about that. If you want to know how to do that exactly, hit me up on the side and I can show you one-on-one how I do it. If you know a better way, show me what you got, I guess. And we can take it from there. All right, but we have all of our information saved in the folder. Let me see. Here's our tutorial folder now. We have all of our documents saved. And now we're going to move on to inputting those into our database. So we're going to open up our training database here. Let me close that so nothing pops up. All right, we got a completely blank database going on. This is a brand new blank database, nothing inputted, right? So over here on the left hand side is where all of our stuff is going to show once we start adding it in here. Some people will go to external data and you can use this right here to input your stuff. I think it could be a little confusing because you're just going off of what the arrows say. If you right mouse click over, oh, I can't do it. Let's open up a new one. New, blank database, create new database. All right, here we go. So it opens up with this first table. If you right mouse click on the table, you can import or export. Very simple. Import an Excel sheet. We're going to import our UOC table. Let's go to browse. You're gonna find the folder that has our UOC table and all of our raw data in it. You're gonna use the UOC table that you created that has all your UICs, your companies, your battalion, your brigade, and what counselors go to that. I'll use the simple one just for training purposes. Everything that you upload into Access Database, make sure you click right here, link. You want to link it to the data source. So that means every time that you save a new file, or if you go back into Retain to get another reenlistment ad hoc confirmed and you save as to this folder and it replaces this one, when you link it, it's automatically going to update in database. You'll never have to go back and re-input anything into database. It will automatically, once you save it over the other folder or file in your folder, it will automatically update. So link the data source, click OK. We want to open. Our first row contains column headings. Next, and we want to label that UOC table. Finish, and it's linked. Close that. Table 1 now, so now we have our UOC table in here. Whoop, whoop. All right, now we're gonna import text file because we saved everything as text with headers. Text file. And we're gonna start with our PerDB. So you're gonna put PerDB in there. You're gonna link the data source by creating a linked table. And you're gonna click OK. Click OK. It is going to bring you to this link text wizard. I'm gonna do the best I can here without showing any PII. So you're gonna click next. You're gonna click this button right here. It says first row contains field names because everything up here in the top contains what the below is named. So make sure that box is checked right there, and you're gonna click advance. All right, so this is the only time that you're gonna do this with most of the things that you upload here into your database. Your date order, you're gonna click this down box and move it to year, month, day. You're gonna delete the date delimiter and the time delimiter. Make sure those are deleted, very important. And you're gonna go down this right here and you're gonna change everything that you need to change to either short text, long text, long integer, date with time. Date with time is gonna be what we're gonna be changing a lot of our stuff to. So I change almost everything that has a date that I know that has a 4-digit date in it. Like BASD, for example, has a 4-digit date. So you're gonna wanna change that to a date with time. Anything that has a four year, 2 month, 2 day. So bonus date as well. My bad. So a really easy way to do this is just use the down arrow. click down on everything, current grade date, and if you just click DA, it changes it to date with time. And scrolling down, date previous ETS, DA, DCOST, DA, dep date, DA. Since I'm over here in Korea, we deal with DROs a lot, so DROs is a big thing that we need to make sure is reflecting right on our per DB. Date with time, date of birth, date of rank, date last PCS. EF&P date is only 4-digit year, 2 month, so you want to leave that short text. ETS, flag days. HIV date is also a 4-digit year, 2-digit month, so we don't change that. Moving on, OPAT, PDB, PPCAT, date. Once you do this so many times, all right, so social security number, this is a big one. Soldier's social, right? If you leave it at long integer, if it starts with zeros, those zeros are going to disappear. You got to change it to long text. If you don't change it to long text, you're going to be missing out on some socials, and it's going to be annoying. If you want, you can do the same to spousal socials. So if they're MACP, that shows. More dates. And that is it. I'm sure I missed some. I'm sure somebody's gonna comment on that and let me know that I missed some. It's all good. It's all good. I'm not a pro at this. I just know the basics enough to get by, and that's all that matters. So once you get done, you're gonna click OK. It's gonna file through, make sure everything's good. You're gonna click next. So you can do the same thing I just did on this one if you want. You can just click by on each one of these, and when you click it, it will show up here the data type. So like BASD, we changed it to date with time, so it's right there. Bonus date is also date with time. So you just keep clicking the next arrow right here, and it will take you all the way through. You can do that, or you can use the advanced one like I just did, and do them all. Completely up to user preference. Next, we're going to leave the table name as per DB ad hoc and click finish. And finished linking table. And now it's up here in our tables. We are back to the reports. I forgot to pull a report for you guys. The on orders report. So we're going to go to user support, reports. I'm going to go down here to on orders notification. Whatever LOCID you want to pull, you're going to put your LOCID in there if it's a specific LOCID. If you're a battalion counselor, if you're a brigade counselor, you want to pull the whole brigade's reports or on orders. So I do the roll up of my brigade. I put a ridiculous date in there because it doesn't really matter. 1999 January 1st to 2040 October 1st. Sure. And then you're going to click search. I'm not going to click search, because then you're going to see a whole bunch of people's social security numbers and stuff. But you're going to click search. It's going to pull your report, and then you're going to save as text with headers to our folder. All right, so go ahead and do that, and we'll get back to inputting stuff into database. All right, so here we're moving on to importing more things. We're going to import text file. Go to our folder. Let's do the extensions ad hoc confirmed. We're going to make sure we click the link to the data source and hit OK. Next, first row contains field names, advanced. So like I said, when we did the per DB, that one is the only time you're going to change any of this stuff right here. The date, time, and numbers. You're going to leave this one, month, day, year. We're going to leave the delimiter, and we're going to leave the time delimiter. I don't know why. Yup. And for some reason, a lot of the stuff is changed to the right thing in here. So there's not a lot of things we have to go through and change. There is a couple. So we'll scroll through and do all those. But a lot of these are already changed to date with time for some reason. I don't know why. It just is. So we're gonna go through. D-Rose is not, because I am in D-Rose location. I would make sure I change that with date with time. I always like to have the flag dates on there just so everything's the same. Just scrolling through, making sure you got everything. Social security numbers, long text. Just like in the PRDB, make sure all social security numbers are long text, otherwise you're going to lose some of those zeros at the beginning. And that is it. Hit OK. Hit finish. And hit OK. And to double check your work to make sure nothing's messed up, you can open up the file right here. And if you scroll to the right, if any of the columns are labeled !NUM, num, then you did something wrong in that, and you're gonna have to delete it, go back and re-upload. We're good with that one. I'm gonna go ahead and continue to add my tables in here, and then once I get them all uploaded, we'll move on to the next spot. So we're currently in the on orders notification, uploading it in here. Just want to touch on a couple things that you do need to change in this one. The on orders sent, we want date with time. The on orders report, date with time. And that's about it. UA end date, date with time. And those are the only ones, but make sure that you're going through and changing those to date with time. All right, adding our re-enlistment ad hoc confirmed. Also some things in here you might want to change. Let's see, confirmation date. You make sure that those are date with time, especially if you're a senior. This way you can see, you can build your own type of things. You can find out when people put them in hold. And let's see, hold date, date with time. New ETS date, date with time. Report date, date with time. Reno date, date with time. Socials, long text. And this is a big one. SRB amount. Currency. Always change the SRB amount to currency. Because it's in money. We're talking about money. And when we do any kind of formulas to find out how much a whole battalion or a whole company or battery or squadron's getting paid, we want to show it in dollars. We want to show them officers how much their units making in bonuses. Waitlist date, date with time. And if you really want to know waivers, if you have any, date with time. Then you're gonna click OK and finish. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. If you mess something up, I purposely messed something up a second ago, and I'll show you what I did, because I wanted to show you guys what it will show you if you mess up. Hashtag num, exclamation point. So if you mess something up, that's what it's going to show you. So you know that you did something wrong. So you close that, you delete what you did, re-enlistment ad hoc, and you import it again. Re-enlistment ad hoc confirmed. We're going to link the tables. Next, first row contains field names, advance. So this is what I did. I deleted the date time delimiters. Don't do that. And then go back through. So the only time you're going to delete those is in your PRDB. The only time you will delete those is when you upload your PureDB. Everything else you upload, you will not delete those. So go down here and change everything to date with time that you need to, or long text again, and then hit OK and finish. Okay, so I'm on my last one to upload. This is the verified, unverified, and I lied to you guys. My bad. So same with your PureDB, you will also change the date order in this one to year, month, day, and you're gonna delete the delimiters, the slash and the colon. And you're gonna change the social security numbers to long text and the ship date to date with time. That is it. That's all you're changing. That's all you care about. And then you're gonna hit OK, and then you're gonna hit finish. I'm not gonna move this box because there's PII behind the box. I'm hiding PII. So you're gonna hit OK, you're gonna hit finish, and then that's gonna be complete. I'm gonna go through and delete all the social security numbers and PII identifiable so that I can show you guys how to start building some reports. All right, so we're gonna get into building our first report here. It's going to be an eligibility roster. Very simple. You're gonna go up here to create. You're gonna do a query design right there. Click on that. This little box is gonna pop up. It's gonna show you everything that you have uploaded into your tables. You can use this box. You can double click on the things that you want and they'll pop up into the query, or you can just close that, go over here to where your tables are, and you're gonna click and drag over what you want. You're always gonna start all of your queries off with your UOC table. That's gonna show you that's gonna be the basis of how you're going to compare things to get the answers to the questions that you want. Oh, I wish I knew a better way to explain that. All right, so we're gonna use our UOC table and our PureDB. That is how we're going to build our eligibility roster. So for the best way to explain this is you're just gonna find the two things to compare on here to get a question answered, which is going to be your UIC from your UOC table and your UIC from your PureDB. So you're going to click on UIC and you're going to drag it over to this UIC on your PureDB. So click and hold from your UOC table, drag it over to UIC from PureDB. Boom, it's going to put a fancy line connecting the two things, saying that those things are similar. Or an exact match. Those things are an exact match from your UOC table to your PureDB. Now, if you scroll through your PureDB, that's always going to be down there now. Those things are always connected, and that's what we're telling Access, that from your UOC table to your PureDB, those things are connected and exact matches. So those two tables are connected now at this point. So down here in your fields, you can click and it will show you, let's start with tables. You're gonna go to your table, your first table, it's gonna be on your far left-hand side of your Excel sheet is going to be your UOC table. We're gonna wanna show the battalions. And then your next table is gonna be UOC table. We wanna show the batteries that the battalions have. And if you're at a brigade or higher level and you wanna see what counselor that battalion and battery belongs to, then you can put the career counselor in there. And now the rest of this information is going to be straight out of your PureDB. We want to build an eligibility roster, right? So what are some things that we have on our eligibility rosters? We have name. So you type in what you want and hit tab, but it has to be an exact match of what's on your PureDB. So name is an exact match. It's right there. And we know that that's on there. Or you can just go to your PureDB right here and you can just scroll through it and say, I want my BASD on there. You double click it. It shows up on your, down here in the fields. So you got your name, your BASD. We want to know, well, I would want to know their DROs because we're in an overseas location. Their ETS date. That would be a good one to know. You want to know their grade. We could probably move their grade. So to move something, you want to click it and hold. Oh, click it and hold. And see where the black line is? That's where it's going to drop. So that's the name right there. We want the grade to be right after the name. So we got the name, grade, BASD, DROS, ETS. We would probably want their MOS on there, right? So we're gonna get the PMOS, double click that, and now it's there. But we probably want that right after the grade as well. So now we got the name, grade, PMOS, BASD, DROS, ETS. Their term. You want to know what term they are on your eligibility roster. Again, we could probably move that one over here. All right. And I mean, you can add whatever you want. Make it fun. Make it whatever you want to make it. Right? People who have access, that use access, that are well-rounded in access, probably have a Word document on their computer of their access codes. These are things that I keep. Some I've created, some I've got from other people, but you can save them, and as long as you're using the same stuff, you can just add them to your database when you're building reports. Whoops, I clicked too far. So I want to know what FY they are on my eligibility roster. So you're going to copy the formula for FY ETS. You're going to paste that into the field down here. And now the FY of what FY their ETS falls under is going to pop up over there. So that's a good thing to have on your eligibility roster. First day eligible to re-enlist, what day they enter their row. That's a great thing to have on your eligibility roster. So we're going to paste that. So now we got what battalion they belong to, the battery they belong to, the career counselor who's responsible, their name, their grade, their primary MOS, their term, their BASD, DROS, ETS, what FY they fall under, and their first day that they enter their row. So that is a basic eligibility roster right there, right? So I'll show you what it looks like. Oh man, no. Yep. Let's go ahead and change this real quick. So if you want to change how things get exported onto your Excel sheet or whatever, you don't like how it shows up from the per DB, you can just click to the left of it. So right here I'm clicking on PMOS, click right to the left of it, and you're going to just write MOS and then colon space. And now when we export it out to a actual Excel sheet, it will say MOS instead of PMOS. Same thing with term or whatever you want to change. If you don't like the way something shows up on here, you can just write what you want it to say, put a colon and a space, and that's what it's going to say when you export it. So here's our basic eligibility roster. You're going to come up here to where it has the red exclamation point in the top left where it says run, and you're going to click run. And then everything is going to get blasted out onto this is your answer. So when we're doing the query, we're asking the questions, and then when we hit run, it gives us an answer. You can make it pretty by making sure everything is neatly organized. Names, grades, MOS, term, BASDs, DROS, ETS, FYs, first day eligible to re-up. Boom. If you want to go back to where our query is, down here in the bottom right hand corner, there's three little things. The one we're at right now is datasheet view. And then the middle one is the SQL view. I'm not even hardcore enough to go into that one. And then we got the design view. Design view takes us back to our query. If we want to better sort what our data sheet looks like, we go back to the design, go down here underneath battalion, you're gonna click the down arrow, we're going to sort by ascending, and then same with battery, we're going to sort by ascending. And then we're going to click run again. And it's going to make things a little bit prettier. Boom. So now everything's sorted by battalion and by battery. And then we have the career counselor that's responsible for them. All right. Now we want this on an Excel sheet, so we can do whatever else we want to it. So we're going to go to external data. But before we do that, let's save this. Save. We're saving that as our eligibility roster. Save. And now we have a query down here. And now that is always saved. And every time that we put in a new per DB into our certain folder that we have saved, and we just double click on eligibility roster, everything is going to automatically update with new soldiers. If soldiers have left the per DB, the soldier will automatically be removed. If a new soldier has came, a new soldier will automatically populate. But we want this on an Excel sheet, so we're going to go to external data, or you can just right mouse click on it and export to Excel. Right? Export to Excel. Where do you want this saved? We can save it in our tutorial folder. Make a new folder for reports. Go into reports, and we're going to save our eligibility roster because we made this today, 2020 11/13. Save. And we're going to export it with the data formatting and layout because I already moved everything to where I like it. And we want to open it as soon as we save it. So, boom. There is our beautiful eligibility roster in all of its glory. Wow. We did that, guys. We did that. Yep. Alright, so we can close that. That is our eligibility roster. Finished. Done. The next step would be on orders report. So we're going to build a new design query. We're going to put our UOC table in. We're going to put our on orders report in. We're going to link the UICs because those are the common factors, right? We want to see the battalions, the batteries, the career counselors, name. We want to see what term they are, the on orders sent, the on orders report, the ETS date, the DROs. So LOC and CONAP. LOC, I don't know what that stands for, but it's a OCONUS assignment. Anything that falls under LOC, I'll show you guys when we get there, is an OCONUS assignment. Anything that falls under CONAP is a CONUS assignment. I don't know what those stand for, but those are what those are. So we're gonna put the LOC on there. We're gonna put the CONAP on there. If you really want to get down to what unit they're going to, like a specific unit, if you know all the DMLs and DMSLs for recruiter, or if somebody's going to a schoolhouse or something, you're going to want the DMLs and DMSLs on there. Somebody much smarter than me is going to have to do a feature on this YouTube channel, and they're going to have to explain how to do that because that is out of my league, right? I mean, I know how, and I have the formulas to show me how, but it's too much for me to explain in here when I don't understand how it works. I don't want to fail you guys. But let's go with that stuff right there, right? And then if we go to our handy dandy access codes right here, under on orders, I got the how many days they've been on AI. That's a really good one to know, so we're going to copy that. I want to know how many days this guy's been on assignment instructions. We're going to paste that in there. And we got the SRR date. Do they meet the SRR for these assignments? So we're going to put that on there. Boom. So now we got days on AI, SR. Again, if you don't like the way something's said or how it's going to be presented on here, like this one's on underscore orders underscore sent. We're going to put on orders, or no, we're going to change that. Orders sent, colon, space. So that's the day that the orders were sent, right? On orders report, or we're going to write report date, right? ETS dates. Weird on here. ETS colon space. DROS is weird on here. DROS colon space. We know that LOC stands for OCONUS. OCONUS. Can't spell. OCONUS colon space. And CONAP is CONUS assignments colon space. So that just makes it look a little bit nicer when we hit run. Boom. So now we got the batteries, we got the career counselors, the soldiers' names, what term they're on, the orders sent, the report date, ETS, DROS, CONUS assignments, days on AI, and the SRR, or the months remaining after they report. So this one was LOC, right? CONUS. We got Germany, Japan, CONUS or CONAP, Carson, Lewis, Carson, Riley, Hunter Army Airfield, right? So those are all of our assignments. We're gonna save that. On orders report. Boom. On orders report, looking great. So now we got our eligibility roster, we got our on orders report. Winning. Re-enlistment. So this one is completely up to you on how you do it. I don't really use any formulas on mine because all my formulas are already in my my stats. So every time that I throw my re-enlistment confirms in here, it automatically calculates all my stuff and adds them to my stats. So that one is up to you on how you want to play that game. Everyone does it different. To each his own. If you want to know how I did this, again, reach out to me on the side and I can show you one-on-one on how I did it. And it filters into every single battalion that I own in my other brigade. So I think that was a pretty good tutorial on how to basically add your stuff to database and then build your first queries of eligibility and on orders. I didn't show you how to do re-enlistment because I don't really have a re-enlistment one that I do. I mean, I do. I obviously have like it has my UOC table and my re-enlistment stuff. I have the USCs, but I have everything on here. Battalion, battery, and then if you want everything, you double click up here on the top and it highlights everything. And I legitimately have everything on my report, so I just drag down and it puts everything. That's the best way for me to use my formulas on Access because I use a whole bunch of COUNTIF formulas that automatically populate my stats. So if you want to know how to do that, again, reach out to me on the side and we can go over that one-on-one. I hope this gave people a better understanding on how to do basic stuff in database. I will try to make as many more videos as I can, and I'll reach out to a couple people that I know that are complete monsters at this stuff and I learn from them all the time, and hopefully they can teach all of us a little something on here too. I ask them to make little videos, and we can upload it to this YouTube channel and try to help out the entire field. I feel like everyone relies too much on other counselors making these large, glamorous databases. But then when things change, or that counselor doesn't want to put out a update, everyone who was using that one is now suffering because they don't know how to fix it. They don't know how to do their own database. They don't know how to change anything. So, I mean, you give somebody a fish, they eat for a day. You teach somebody fish, they eat forever. So hopefully this can help people learn how to fish. If not, hit me up. I have no problem helping and trying to explain this further to anybody. I know I'm kind of slow when it comes to teaching, but we all can learn a little something. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you need anything.